or good, occasionally very poor. Bailey, cyclonic 3 to 5, becoming variable 2 to 4. Occasional rain, fog patches, moderates, occasionally very poor. Fayral, west or southwest.
To hold on, whatever the challenges and difficulties we see in the world around us.
Merrymakers, composed by Eric Coates, which opened the BBC's Longwave service and a flavour of what you may have heard on the service over the years. At 1 a.m. in the morning, the Droitwich transmitter in Worcestershire, which has carried programmes on Longwave since 1934, will close down for the last time. Now, Longwave is a curio out of its time, about to be confined to history. In the darkest days of war, though, it made history and brought a little light, besides, to people in occupied Europe. Alistair Mosley is an executive member of the Bromsgrove History Society. He can see the mighty Droitwich masts through his office window, and I asked him to describe them.
When the masts were built, they were the tallest structures in the UK, 700 feet. The two main towers really dominate the whole landscape, and when you're coming home very tired and you'll see the masts there with the lights on, you think we're nearly home now. So they're a great comfort to a lot of people in this area, and they needed specialist skills to build them. And the riggers that were brought in, we would know now as steeplejacks, and one of them had come in from Australia from having just built the Sydney Harbour Bridge. The really interesting story is apparently when they were about halfway up, the riggers decided that they weren't getting paid enough and they went on strike. And they were able to negotiate a 50% increase to the princely sum of 4 shillings, which of course these days is 20p.
Yeah, I have to say worth every penny.
Worth every penny, that's right.
The really impressive thing is about what this transmitter allowed the BBC to do, the access it gave it to audiences around the United Kingdom, but also to audiences quite deep into Europe. How far do the signals go?
They certainly go into sort of France and then out into Eastern Europe. The transmitter was the most powerful of its type in the UK, so it's no wonder that the Ministry of Defence and the government saw it as a very strategic location. And in terms of transmissions, it was used in several ways. It was used for these covert signals to the French resistance, to broadcast intelligence to them to help them get ahead of the game. The other interesting one, it was used to help to block radar signals from the bombers coming in from Germany by the Luftwaffe, and almost blinding them so they couldn't see where they were going. It also had a role to play in the D-Day landings as well as a broadcaster of strategic signals to the operations teams who were overseeing the D-Day landings.
Yeah, and anybody who had an old-style wireless set would have had Droitwich's name right up there with Luxembourg,
there,
Moscow, and so on.
That's right, little Droitwich, who would have thought it? And they were so powerful that any vertical piece of ironwork, you could actually hear the radio broadcast on your drain pipe, and they actually call it the drain pipe effect. So it's very, very common around here.
Now, Longwave will disappear at 1 a.m., so the early hours of Saturday morning. Are you going to be up listening to the last shipping forecast on Longwave?
So I don't count myself actually as a radio enthusiast. I'm a civil engineer, so I am impressed by the construction of these things. In its day, 1934, it would be as groundbreaking as the Starlink project that's going on at the moment. So when this transmitter was built, it was the height of innovation. It had Marconi technology behind it. It needed a huge infrastructure. It had its own power generating station to run it because they couldn't get electricity to it. It was hugely impactful, and the fact that it's still here 92 years on is a great testament to some wonderful engineering and some marvellous forethought.
Alistair Mosley on the Droitwich transmitter. We're going to miss it.